Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to Slaughter Sunday, although today's case is a little different and you'll see why in a minute. For those of you that don't know, my name is Sally, and what I do here is I research the shit ton out of true crime cases, mysteries, ghost stories, and anything that I find interesting or strange, really. If you're someone that is like me and is interested, intrigued, or even slightly obsessed with any of those subjects, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. If you are here to just make nasty comments, be cruel, or simply just to troll, then just don't. I won't tolerate it. Your comments will be deleted. Please leave your comments, leave your opinions, but remember it costs nothing to be kind, bitches. So now that that's all out of the way, today we're going to talk about a woman called Alicia Head, aka the woman who faked being a 9/11 survivor. Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter than normal, it's a little bit different than normal, but I'm still going to talk about it because today, the day that I'm filming this, it is September the 11th, 2021, so that is 20 years, it's the 20-year anniversary of the attack on America by Al-Qaeda, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit, and I've already done a little video on it, but I saw this in a documentary on YouTube and it really got my interest, so I just wanted to talk about it, to be honest, and see what you guys thought. I was going to do this episode by talking about her as a, inverted commas, survivor, and then have the shock value at the end when we find out that she wasn't even there, but I can't bring myself to do that. To make anyone like this seem as though she went through something like that is just a smack in the face to the people who actually did go through that, and the people that died on that day. So I'm not doing that, I'm just going to do it in kind of like a timeline form and just give you the information. I can't be arsed. So I've always been fascinated about the attack on America on the September the 11th. I've watched every single documentary that's ever been released. Like I say, one of those documentaries really pisses me off. And well, they all make me angry for obvious reasons. The fact that 2,977 people were killed that day for no other reason than terror, but to have someone, and I'm sure she wasn't the only person that did this, but to have someone use that to get attention just makes my skin crawl. So before I give too much away, I'm just going to jump into today's case head first. Let's go. Alicia Esteve Head was born on the 31st of July 1973 in Barcelona, Spain. From what I could find, she had a pretty decent upbringing. Her family was well known and well respected in Barcelona when she was a child. She had both of her parents in her life, they both raised her, and she had at least one brother. When she was a teenager, she attended the University of Barcelona, and at the same time she worked at a hotel called the Hotel de la Olímpica. Oh my god, I'm butchering this. You get my drift. After finishing her initial degree at university in 2001, she went on to do her master's degree, while she also worked as a management secretary at a different location. At some point, when she was either a child or when she was in university, her brother and her father actually ended up going to prison in Spain after it was discovered that they had been involved in some kind of financial scandal. Which is interesting, and is it a coincidence? I think the fuck not. So I will quickly touch on what happened on that awful day for those of you that don't know, although if you don't know, where the hell have you been? You know, it's a massive thing. So on the 11th of September 2001, 19 terrorists from a terror group called Al-Qaeda, armed with only box cutters, managed to hijack 4 planes. 2 of these planes would be crashed into the Twin Towers. At 8:46 a.m, American Airline Flight 11 was flown into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City, and at 9:03 a.m, United Airlines Flight 175 was flown into the South Tower. The towers proceeded to burn for over an hour until they both eventually collapsed. also taking out the hotel that was in the middle of the towers with it. So that's 3 buildings that collapsed in total. A third plane was crashed into the Pentagon, and the fourth and final plane, called United 93, was crashed into a field in Pennsylvania after the passengers of the plane took the plane back from the hijackers, but tragically nobody survived and the plane did crash into a field. As I mentioned earlier, I have done a video on this that I will link in the description box, but I'm actually thinking of doing it again anyway, as I found out loads more information since that one, and that one was done not long after I started my channel, so I was really new to this. I've obviously changed my style. I do more of a podcasty kind of thing now, and I think I could actually get a lot more detail in and show a lot more photographs and things like that. So I might do a new one. Let me know what you think, if you want me to, or if you don't want me to. I mean, I'd really like to, because like I say, I found out loads of new stuff. So anyway, back to this woman. In 2003, Head travelled to America, and this is where she made a 9/11 support group for survivors of the attack. She had an amazing following, and people really focused in on her story. Now, I'm not sure, and I couldn't find online, why she even started this group in the first place. I don't know if she heard about what happened when she was in Spain and decided to use that to her advantage, or when she came over to America, she got caught up in everything and ended up doing it that way. I'm not 100% sure, but later friends and people that she went to university with do say that she's always wanted to travel to America. So I'm not sure. In 2004, the founder of the World Trade Center Survivors Network, and his name is Jerry, heard about Head through other people, so through word of mouth, and he reached out to her. The pair actually made a wonderful connection and sent emails back and forth for a little while, and then they actually decided to merge both of their support groups together. So the World Trade Center Survivors Network and the 9/11 support group decided to merge together to become one, and the two groups aimed to give support to survivors, family members, civilians, anybody that had really been affected by the events of that day. Head claimed that she was in the South Tower, so that would be World Trade Center 2, when United Airlines Flight 175 hit. She said she crawled through smoke and flames on the 78th floor where she worked for Merrill Lynch and had received major burns to her left arm. This would have made her one of only 19 people that survived from the impact site or higher. So basically, where the plane hit, only 19 people from the South Tower actually managed to get out if they were in that area or on the floors above the impact site. She also told people that her boyfriend, which in later stories it would be changed to her husband, had been killed in the North Tower. She also claimed that a dying man who she didn't know had returned his ring to her, and it became this really magical, saddening, devastating scene to picture in your mind. She also made claims that Wells Crawford saved her life. I'm really sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I'll pop his picture in. And essentially Wells would later be known as a hero, because his acts to save people and help people during this particular moment made him just an incredible human being. And again, I'll probably do a video on him as well, because his story itself is just incredible. Shockingly, Head spoke to the media about what happened to her, and she was hailed a powerful and brave survivor who had lost her husband but had managed to help others after everything that happened to her. She had crawled her way up through depression and created this support group to help others who had gone through situations similar to hers. She also went on to speak at universities about her experiences. She led tours for the Tribute World Trade Center Visitor Center. She was photographed with the mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor, Rudy Giuliani, and the former New York governor, George Pataki. And this was a photo that went absolutely viral, because it was this brave survivor being photographed with 3 quite influential people at the time. Head would regularly recall her experience at Ground Zero, calling herself a survivor, As I said, she would lead tours for the tributes, and she would talk about the tourists that were coming to look at Ground Zero, about her experience and about how she was a survivor of this day, and it was very, very dramatic. She also featured in 9/11 articles about the 20,000 surviving victims who managed to escape the buildings. And honestly, no one didn't believe her. I mean, why would they? She played the part so well. She had what looked like a burn scar on her arm. She cried when she needed to. She smiled when she needed to. She was modest. She even appeared to have the sadness in her eyes that you would expect somebody who had been through something so traumatic to have. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. She managed to keep her lie going until 2007, so for several years, and that was until the New York Times wanted to verify some details of her story as part of their anniversary segment that they were going to do that year. During interviews, they noticed that she had told people that she had graduated from Harvard University and she had a degree from Stanford University in business, but the Times discovered that this couldn't be true. Neither of the university had any record of her ever attending any of these universities. And we both know, or we all know, that Harvard and Stanford universities are quite hard to get into as it is, and she's claiming she went to both. It's just an unbelievable story. The Times also reached out to Merrill Lynch, who actually didn't have any record that Head had ever worked for them. In fact, it also came out that Merrill Lynch didn't even have offices in the World Trade Center in 2001. Finding out this information, the New York Times asked her for interviews to verify her story and ask her about the inconsistencies, see what was going on here. But Head backed out of 3 scheduled appointments, which made it so suspicious. The Times then obviously reached out to the Survivors Network to ask them to verify her story or to see if they could explain, which they couldn't, and this led to her being dropped as the president and director of the group because everybody had started to piece things together and realise that this woman was lying. She wasn't a survivor of 9/11. Further to this, the man she claimed to be her husband or boyfriend was actually a real victim of the attack, and this man was known as Big Dave. Essentially, this is what she called him. Big Dave's real family, however, told the Times they had never even heard of Head. There was no way that she was either his wife or girlfriend because they had no clue who this woman was, and Dave wouldn't keep that kind of thing from his family. It just didn't make sense. After hearing about this scandal, a newspaper in Barcelona decided to look into this for themselves. After they found out that she was actually from Barcelona originally, they found out that Head wasn't even in America in 2001, and she was actually still attending Barcelona University, and she didn't graduate from there until 2002. So it's physically impossible for her to be in America in 2001 when this happened. They also interviewed people that knew her at university, and they told this newspaper that she had told them that her burn had come from a motor vehicle accident, but she'd also told other people it had come from a horse riding accident. So clearly she is just a serial liar. She lies about everything. Who knows where this scar came from? Who knows if it even is a real scar? Nobody even bloody knows. Once the whole scandal was obviously discovered, Head actually fled from America. She abruptly refused any interviews and she just ran away, essentially never to be heard from again. More sickeningly, though, the World Trade Center Survivors Network received an email in 2008, so a year after the scandal, from a Spanish email account claiming that Head had committed suicide. This makes me so angry, but I'll talk about that in a minute. In 2012, a book and a feature film about Head called The Woman That Wasn't There was aired and published. It showed interviews and inside knowledge about Head and is very, very interesting. I'll try and link it below. I watched it on YouTube. It was really, really interesting to see some footage that we hadn't seen before, that you hadn't seen on CNN and stuff. It was really interesting to look into her mind because it also showed interviews with old friends and people that knew her from this 9/11 supporters network group, and they spoke about her initially so fondly and so lovingly, and then she turned out to be well, a bitch, to be fair. Also in the book and film, it is claimed that Head was actually seen in New York in 2011. So that brings the suicide into question. Apparently she was seen shopping with her mother. And another thing that also makes me question her suicide is that her job at an insurance company in Barcelona fired her after they found out about her scam in New York. I mean, they couldn't fire a woman that wasn't even alive, so, you know, she's obviously alive and she was fired in 2012. So I don't really know what she was playing at. I think she tried to get away with it, and she wanted to basically fake her own death in order to just have people stop talking about her. But people are not going to stop talking about her because what she did was disgusting. It was absolutely atrocious. To pretend that you were a survivor of something that absolutely changed the world and terrified millions of people, and then to also claim that you lost your boyfriend slash husband, and you had this big moment where a man who would later die bought you his wedding ring, and it was this big thing, and people actually went through stuff like that. People lost loved ones, and it's just not fair, and it's not fair for her to use that to get herself attention. Because I do need to point out that apparently she never received a single penny from any of this. Like, her interviews and things, they would pay, but they would pay money directly into the support groups. So it doesn't appear that she received any money from her lie. She just received attention, which is really, really strange. And it makes me think she's got some kind of issue where she needs attention constantly. Like an attention disorder, but where she needs the attention. You know what I mean? I think maybe she's going through something like that, or maybe she's just a psychopath or a sociopath or a narcissist. Who knows? Because she has now vanished into thin air. Nobody has seen her, apparently, and since 2011, there's been a few things pop up that people may have seen her, but these have never been confirmed. So essentially, she's gone into hiding, and we haven't seen her since. So it's been a long time. It's been 10 years. But I hope that she lives a miserable life, if I'm honest. I wouldn't want any harm to come to her. I wouldn't want her to go through anything really bad. But I do hope she lives an absolute miserable, miserable life. Because what she did was appalling. But that's all I have for you today, guys. If you know any more information about this Alicia Head, then please feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Like if you want to like it, comment if you want to comment on it, share it if you think it's worth sharing, whatever. Do whatever makes you comfortable. I would really, really appreciate it regardless. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm sorry it's a short video today, but you know, it is what it is. I've got some big ones coming your way that I've been researching for months. I've got a really, really good one hopefully next week. I'm just waiting for some final bits to be done on that. And then that one should be ready to be uploaded next week. But yes, thank you for all the support. Thank you for being here with me today. I appreciate you, I care for you, and I love you very, very much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.
Jet planes in the night sky with you, getting high in the sunrise with you, getting through all the bad times with you. I wasn't missing a thing, no I do. And I wish that I could build a time machine, 'cause time moves on, and now you're gone. Oh, if only I could build a time machine, I'd come and get you. I can't forget you.